Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, not just today, but since April 5th, our first day at Czech, which has done so much for us. Today's guest brought to you by Optic Foliar, and that includes John Shannon, standing by. The only lights on spray, not John, Optic Foliar, the only lights on spray with no damage and no burning to your plant leaves. Plant efficiency, nutrition, and results all combined into a single solution for all stages of growth and safe to use on flowers. Spray it, see it, believe it. That's Optic Foliar. Visit this made in BC company online at opticfoliar.ca as we're joined by NHL analyst, co-host of the Bob McCown podcast, John Shannon. John, Merry Christmas. How are you, sir? Thanks for doing this.
I am doing great. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you guys.
Yeah. Canucks are scheduled to play the Kraken on December 27th at Rogers Arena. They've already sent out, the Canucks have, notices to people, single game ticket holders, that they will be refunded. Their tickets will be refunded. Is that game going to happen, John?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I think that, the Omicron variant has changed everything for us, and we have not just in hockey, but in day-to-day life. And I think that everybody has their fingers and toes crossed that it will happen. But what's going to happen on Boxing Day with players getting to their practice facilities and testing, I think we'll have a better idea that far away. I mean, and let's face it, it's more difficult for Seattle. Seattle has to travel to Vancouver, and at this point, you have to still wonder about the league-imposed rule about cross-border travel. So there's lots of different variations of this. I think everybody hopes that it happens, but there's no guarantee at this point, Louise.
What's your opinion of the way the NHL has handled the Omicron outbreak? And, John, a lot of people's opinions are colored by the differences between what the NFL is doing testing-wise versus what the NHL is doing.
Yeah, I have no issue with what the NHL has done, Donnie. In fact, I would tell you I've read a lot about what the NFL has done. NBA's in a similar boat. They do a similar type of testing with only players that have symptoms if they're double vaxxed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's responsible. I'm not sure that, when you consider that players, when they leave the arena, go home to their families and to their extended families over the holidays and go to the grocery store, are they becoming, they're not going to go home and just stay in their bedrooms. They're going to go and live their day-to-day life. And if you are asymptomatic but still carry the virus, then what is your responsibility, not just to your football team, your basketball team, your hockey team, but what is your responsibility to society? And that becomes the real question. Sports, there are days that sports should lead by example and be something that people can say is, I trust what they're happening. And I think the more that players and teams test, the better off we are, because I think it sends the right message to everyone.
John, Jim Rutherford's going to name a GM. Everybody's thinking soon. Patrick Alvin certainly is the name that we've been hearing since day one. What are your thoughts on the new general manager in Vancouver at some point? Will he have a lot of say? Is Jim still going to be calling the shots? What kind of structure do you see?
Well, there's only one king, and it's King Jim.
Yep, for sure.
What he's trying to do, in my opinion, is create a structure and a culture there that when Jim leaves, that whether it's Alvin or whether it's someone else, that they can run the same philosophy. And that's really, I think, one of Jim's great selling points, is that he's going to be here. He's going to create a new environment inside the Vancouver Canucks, and then he's going to have people that can enforce it. And so from that perspective, it's good that it's Alvin, because he trusts him. He believes in him. They did win some Stanley Cups together in Pittsburgh. and we'll see what happens. But really, in the end, any decision it will probably go through Jim's desk as much as anybody else's, and I think that's just a reality of how the new structure in the NHL works. I think it's the same in most places where you have that head of hockey operations and a general manager.
John, have you had any contact with Jim Benning, or do you know anything about his future? Because I'll tell you one thing about Jim, and he's well respected in the hockey world. He comes from a great hockey family. He knows the game. Very rarely will you find someone in the hockey world say something bad about him. But where do you see Jim ending up someday?
Well, when the dust settles, and the only contact I have had with Jim since he was dismissed was just passing on my sympathy to him, and we did have a short conversation that way, but nothing more than that. Jim's a heart and soul guy, and the frustration I think for a lot of people is that doesn't necessarily come across when he's sitting behind a table and in front of a microphone. Mm-hmm. But he's a lifer, and we know what his strength is. And it would not be surprising to me to see him with a team maybe next summer in that scouting / player personnel position where he really did become quite famous for what he did for the Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres.
Yep. Calgary. John, the Flames and the city, there's a $9 to $10 million cost overrun, and that project is stalled, if you can believe it. As a result, what's going to happen there?
They were supposed to put the shovel in the ground in January, Donnie.
Yes,
that was supposed to be the ceremony. It was supposed to be a big fancy thing with the mayor and Murray Edwards and whoever, and probably Lanny McDonald because he's the most beloved person in Calgary. But what I would say is that this is just another episode in a very, very public demonstration between private enterprise and city government. When you're talking about a project that goes between $650 and $720 million, and we're going to fight over $14.2 million, mm-hmm. Seriously, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And I just find it a very, very public negotiation, and something will get rectified. And whether they split it down the middle or somebody ends up saying, well, we're going to do this and you can do that, or they're going to change something within the parameters. It's really a shame after all the overtures that went on in Calgary for the last 3 to 4 years to get this far, to see it end so abruptly on social media, and then with a press release at 12:35 Eastern time from the Flames.
You mentioned $14 million. Your numbers are more updated than mine, John. Hey, we have you on every Thursday, John, and we can't thank you enough. This is a relatively new project for us, and it's been fairly successful, and you're a big part of it. Thanks so much, and Merry Christmas.
Listen, you guys, I say this unabashedly. It's always nice to be heard and seen at home. Mm-hmm. That's very important to me. It's very important to my family, and I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do that on a regular basis. And as I told you a few weeks ago, I still got that Canuck tattoo somewhere on my body. It's just it may be a little more wrinkled now than it was when I got it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you.
Okay, we don't want to see it, by the way, John. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Don't worry, you'll just see pictures. Okay,
okay.
You'll just see the pictures. On the wall, so.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks so much. All the best.
Cheers.